What's up, Middle Georgia Dog Pound? Welcome to another edition of the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live. I'm your host, Brian. Matt, Kevin, what's up, fellas?
How about it, buddy? Good to see you.
Week 3, we are here. SEC schedule begins to this weekend. Cannot wait to take on those nasty chickens. Get us some fried chicken after this weekend. I like mine spicy. I don't know about you guys. So we got a good show for you guys tonight. We're going to recap the Ball Stste game. Talk a little bit about what we saw from that game and what to expect as we move forward through our SEC gauntlet. Definitely got a lot of good things to talk about and a lot of things that we need to improve on. But we're going to put your mind at ease with some good statistics and try to help you to cool your jets on your worries and your fretting, because we've been here before and we come out just fine. So few little housekeeping tidbits. Want to remind everybody, if this is your first time on the show, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give permission to StreamYard to show your name and your photo on the screen, so we'll know who is commenting. In addition, we do have a email, so if you want to hit us up, you can at Middle Georgia Dog Pound. That's Middle GA Dog, spelled like it should be, DAWG, pound at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a product or a business you want us to promote, we'd love to do that for you. So, guys, let's jump right into this, man. Let's roll that highlight footage and talk a little bit about Ball Stste and what we saw.
Embrace it. Embrace the hard. Embrace the hard. Embrace the hard. Day one. Embrace the hard. At some point today, it's going to be really hard. It's not our standard. Okay, it's not elite. It's our standard. Elite is our standard. Whether it's you, or whether it's you, or whether it's the game, the standard is elite. In the game, the standard is elite. I mean, from start to finish. From start to finish. That's all that matters.
Good chance. Now, good chance. The parent's done now. The parent's done. Go out here. Good chance to go out here.
Strike it first. Strike it first. Whole game. It's a bare-handed hunt. It's a bare-handed hunt. Sitting there. I'm just there. I'm just there. Ain't no sitting back there. Ain't no sitting back there. I'm going to turn my turn. Second. The ball. Second. The ball.
Go sit and hunt. Go sit and hunt. But go hunt.
31, he's going to take 31, he's going to take it around to the right, 40, 35, tackle there, breaks one tackle there, 50, 40, at the 30, 40, he's got a 30, he's got a convoy, he's going to take it all the way, he's going to touch it out of the leg, with high news, almost 70 yards on the punt return, and there's Mr. Excitement, Joyce Sack Jr. right there.
I had to get one on foot,
It's the best week we've ever had. To hunt the ball.
Defense. We hunt today. We hunt today. The ball.
And intercepted. Malachi started. Malachi the receiver. Breaks it off at the Georgia 22-yard line. And he'll throw it right on the goal line. Right on MRJ. Marcus Roseby Jackson tumbling in the end zone for the touchdown. Ricochet right to Chambliss, who makes comparable interception at the 3-yard line. Dylan will get the carry, bounces out right. Nice move, 15, angles 10, breaks it back to 5, touchdown, Dylan.
Breaking ankle. What a run. What a little bit of green grass and then a bunch of shake and bake.
Hey, man, we just get started, man. Let's get started. Throw that out.
Tipped off the receiver, high up in the air, high up in the air, Smith on the tip.
Yeah, 3 picks now in the first half for Samantha. So this football game turned into a nightmare.
Yeah, broke the plane, straight ahead dive over the pile for the touchdown. gets back in there to gobble him up the red. Well, they won't get it. Not a chance. Not a chance.
God! What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, my God!
A lot of good highlights there. A lot of good highlights. Guys, what did you guys learn after week 2? Matt?
That sometimes it may take them a little bit of time to get going. These are emotional guys. I think sometimes they need a little bit of a spark, especially in games like that. I mean, it's really hard to these guys really get amped up for some of these, cash for clicker games that we have. And so then to get amped up, I think the crowd was there, that they were there into it early too. So I just think they need a little bit of opportunity and get into a rhythm to get that started. Learn that we have a little bit of opportunity. That's a nice way of saying it. That's corporate world. Instead of saying issues, we say opportunity. We have opportunity with some running back issues for sure. May just be need to get back into a rhythm, and it may just be we have a talent deficiency that maybe weren't aware of as much. So we'll come to figure it out here soon, very soon. We start facing some really good defensive lines.
What about you, Kevin? What did you learn after week 2?
That we have some young players that need experience, and they're getting it quick, fast, in a hurry. But that's a good thing, because as we move forward into this season, we're going to need these guys. As you know, we're experiencing it now with our injuries, and these guys are getting game time reps, right away in first two games of the season, and that's going to be very, very beneficial. Come down the stretch, because guys are susceptible to getting dinged up, and you got to have that next man up mentality of, who's going to be there to step in to fill those roles. We saw several different things in that game that I don't think anybody was ever expected to see. One was Dylan Bell as the running back. That was kind of wild, but yeah, it's one of those things that these young guys have got to learn, learn the game, and they're getting, it's like a trial by fire type of thing. So I think it's going to be beneficial down the stretch. And one thing I also learned was they're not going to open the playbook for these little scrub teams. That's a big thing that I learned, and I think that this week we're going to find out what's in that playbook.
Yep, totally agree. So one thing that Matt pointed out to us today, and I think that we kind of got spoiled last year with coming out the gate dominating Oregon the way we did, but we came home to play Samford, right? And it was, even though we won that game 33-0, we came back feeling like it was a very sloppy game, that we didn't play our best game. And then we went into the very next week, we went into South Carolina and we dominated South Carolina, beat them 45-7 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the very next week after that, we struggled with Kent State. So Matt, you made some good points earlier, and I wish you'd do it. Talk a little bit about the struggles that we have as we're going through this season.
And so, yeah, I think about this game we're talking about coming up here soon. We'll preview it later on. Are these the kind of things we're seeing that are just sloppy, or things that we're seeing that we just don't recognize? It is us holding back the playbook, like Kevin's saying, or is it truly this? We are actually just having issues in the offense right now. Is it personnel? Is it coaching? Is it just maybe some bad luck on some plays? Is it Carson? Is the offensive line? And so that's what we really don't know yet, because we really haven't played a SEC or top caliber team. But I mean, you look at the year as we went through. We like I said, Brian, you just mentioned it. Struggled somewhat not putting points on the board against Samford, but putting touchdowns on the board. We were down there. I think we kicked like 6 field goals that day. And then, like I said, we had a great game against South Carolina because it was a bigger opponent. And then we come back home, and Kent State, we struggled. In the following week, we went to Missouri and we struggled again. And so there is a trend sometimes where we just got to get in the right flow. And so I much rather us have these kind of flow issues now during this season than when it comes championship time. When it comes to the SEC championship game or the playoff, those are when we need to be hitting all cylinders. So right now, like I said, I'm holding my brakes a little bit on our consistency piece until we actually start getting into where, okay, now people have seen the playbook. Now we don't have to hold anything back. What's that really look like? And so that's just because there's some thoughts about it. I mean, I hope we don't go in there and slop it up, this weekend. I just hope that the stadium lights up, the people are ready to go, the fans are there, pumped and excited, and really just put a slam dunk on top of South Carolina.
Aren't any issues except the ones we create. Getting up and dominating is emptying the tank. So do so 2 weeks in a row, not typically possible. I'm not sure who that was that posted that.
And I think we're really playing that bad. I mean, we're scoring 40 plus points a game. I mean, and some of yes is a defensive touchdown on one of those. But I mean, one thing I will say that I've earned is we're really not seeing much from Brock Bowers right now. And I think the news came out, was it earlier today or yesterday, that Smart said that he's been injured a little bit. And so that makes some sense of why we're seeing things from him that we didn't normally see. He's playing injured. He's playing hurt. And that once again goes back to our issues and concerns at that tight end position. We thought we were stacked, but then when Lucky gets injured, and then now we really only have a little bit of Brock Bowers. We have a lot of Delp, and we have a little bit of Spurgeon coming on there a little bit, but not the same kind of we had last year with Washington playing really well. So it's really weird seeing Brock Bowers out there, getting hit and dropping fumbles and missing passes, wide open passes. So I hope that stuff gets tightened up here soon too. That just becomes like just a bleep on the radar.
Yeah, totally agree. The other thing I was concerned that has me a little bit concerned is just the fact that we're not getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, right? And some of that I'm wondering is just the competition that we're playing, or is it just the fact that the teams have predetermined they're going to get the ball out quick? I think they're getting it out. I think I saw a stat of like 2.5 seconds from the time the ball snapped to the time it leaves the quarterback's hand. So those things, and then in punch outs, we haven't seen a lot of punch outs, forced fumbles from our defense that we saw last year. Those things I'd like to see, and I'd like to see us get some more pressure on the punters, right? Block some punts or block some field goals. We have not done any of that. So, definitely some things that we can definitely improve on.
Well, if you keep returning them, who cares whether they block them or not?
I understand. Yeah, he's definitely turned it on, and he's speaking of him, he is a team mentality guy, and I had a little video here I wanted to show of him in the press conference a week ago.
Kai, walk me through your touchdown on Saturday, what you saw, and when did you kind of know you had a chance to take it to the house?
I felt like I had a chance to take it to the house when I seen all the O-linemen in front of me. I mean, they perfectly blocked it. Receivers executed. Everyone executed on that play. I feel like I had the easiest part just running to green grass.
What exactly were your offers? Can you name like a couple of them? And what is it like being a walk-on at Georgia? And is it different now than it was when you first got here?
A couple of my offers, I had Morehouse, Savannah State, had Olivet, Nazarenes, and AIA. And what was your second question? I'm sorry.
Just being a walk-on at Georgia. I mean, obviously you're playing now. When you first got here, is there like, do you get more privileges the more you move up the depth chart and that kind of thing?
No, I don't think I get any more privileges. I feel like everyone's treated the same. But you just have to put your head down when you first come down. You just start at the bottom of the depth chart and just put your head down and work. And if you're willing to work, I feel like this place gives you an opportunity to work your way up.
Yeah, I love that mentality that just grind, put your head to the grindstone, right? Get it done. What are some things from the game that you want to see improve this coming week?
I think the running game, Matt
Yeah.
alluded to that. That's one of those big things. Is it's a question. You can see it because they're using different pieces of the puzzle to try to get that running game going. Different men that are usually not in that position are playing that position. It's just due to the injuries that we've had. I think the other thing is, Brian, you also alluded to this, is special teams play as far as the defensive side of it is going in, getting after the punter, turning those punts into 7 points. We kind of got spoiled a little bit last year watching those guys get after the punter and blocking those punts. I'd like to see some more of that this week, and I'm wondering if we're going to see it since it's an SEC opponent, if they're actually going to get after the punter. Maybe that wasn't in the game plan for these smaller teams. It was, I don't know. It's just speculation there, whether they were, designed it that way. They wanted to see what the returns look like or something like that,
Yep. So John Akaki says this is a young team. They're learning to win together. Yeah, I agree with that. This is vanilla. That's all we've shown. Yep.
Yeah, very,
very vanilla, very vanilla. But we'll bust it out this week and make some things happen. I'm confident that we are not going to lay down for the Gamecocks. This run back from Muse, man. I pulled another video of it. He is just quick, man. Let's watch it one more time.
Sideline. 47-yard punt for Boro the first time. Couldn't pin Georgia deep. Muse at the 31. He's dangerous. He made a man miss. He's inside the 30. 69 yards.
In special teams, I would say so far that's been maybe the biggest difference in this game. Excellent return game, both in kickoff and punt return. Watch the blocks out front. Roseby Jackson got a block. Tyke Smith with the block out front. Couple of starters on special teams on the punt return unit. And then you got Mekhi Muse, and it's been his story through the first two games so far. A great kickoff return to give Georgia half a football field to work with offensively, and then.
Yeah, I love the fact that we were kind of struggling to get something going, right, and that little punt return just seemed to get our offense kicked off in the right gear, and we started moving the ball after that. Bill Krug says running game will only improve when the O-line blocks well. This so far is a weakness of the team. Shouldn't be with four guys returning passes ahead at the moment. Yeah, I'll agree with that. It seems like Ernest Green is struggling a little bit on the tackle position. In my opinion, he's getting beat. It definitely makes you realize how much we're missing old 77, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
He was our road grader. He opened up the holes for the running game, and we don't have that this year. And maybe it'll develop. Yeah, I totally agree. We've got to get something going with the running game, and it could be that Edwards just hasn't been there. He's kind of that bruiser back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the quickness and piece of it, and some of it is also. You watch the game again. We're still have receivers who are missing their blocks, or they're allowing these linebackers to get inside and shoot those gaps when they shouldn't be. And I love him, but Aaron Smith is one of the most guilty ones of that of all.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of one of the reasons why you see him, he's not always starting. He's not playing almost all these snaps because he struggled to get on the field with that. He's a great weapon on that field. If he can't block for that run game, he's not gonna. It's not helping you because you're just telling the offense, you're telling the defenses, oh, you're in here because the ball's going deep. So we need to make sure he becomes a good blocker on the outside like he needs to be.
Yep, totally agree. Well, you guys have anything more you want to cover on the Ball State game? was looking to see if we had any comments from anybody that wanted to bring anything up. I don't see.
I just really want to see for the future game. I want to see how Beck still continues his progressions. There are some times where he had wide open checkdowns he didn't take. So I mean, one thing I love about Beck is that he will take his check down 95% of the time. He really does. That's something that Stetson always somewhat seemed to kind of he didn't like his check down. He wanted the big play. He wanted to be the cowboy. He wanted to put the ball in there and get 15 plus yards almost every play. That was his thing. But we've had some check downs where it could have been some completions, or some check downs that could have been not you running the ball and getting a fumble, and so he need to take them sometimes when he just doesn't see it open.
Yep, totally agree.
One of the other concerns I wanted to bring up is our ability to stop the run game. I don't know if y'all have been paying attention to that. It seems like that they have. To me, it seems like they have struggled to stop that. You get them, 3rd and 8, and they'll run a play and pick up the first down, which is something that the past 2 seasons they have not done. So I'm not sure what's going on there. You think we'd have experienced linebackers in there to stop that run game, even if it penetrated the line. So I don't know. I'd like to see that improve as well.
I agree. Which I think it will against South Carolina.
Yep. Well, let's move right on into that. What do you say? Let's run that South Carolina trailer and let's talk a little bit about South Carolina and what we expect to see this week.
Let's do it.
For Georgia, they'll open up now SEC play against South Carolina.
2-0, and now we're getting ready for what, guys? SEC play. I think about what can I do at practice to prove that I'm ready when my number's called. All I've heard about is connection. I want to see the connection today. You pick each other up, you love on each other. What you get is what you earn. Go earn it by how we do things. Go to work. Go to work. You hunt. Defense. We hunt today. You understand? We hunt today. Who are we? Who are we? Are we who we say we are? Are we who we say we are? Today we find out.
Good deal. Yeah, I love it, man. Love it. Fired up for the chickens, man. I love this graphic. I don't know who came up with it, but it is like an epic edit here where they replaced, I guess it was a football he was holding in his hand, but they replaced it with a South Carolina bucket of chicken. I just love that. Just love it. So, guys, maybe you hadn't thought about this, but I thought about it this week. This will be the last time that we play South Carolina on a regular basis. And we've played them every single year since 1992. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's wild to think about.
So, thinking about that, who benefits more from who's going to like the benefit versus the reward? Who wins out more, South Carolina or Georgia, by playing each other? Or not playing each other?
I think South Carolina wins out by not playing Georgia, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think we hold the record for win-loss, right?
Yep.
So I think it's them that benefits.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's gonna be weird not having that rival game though from your next door neighbor on a yearly basis. Well, you guys all know the Carolina mascot. His name is Cocky. The live mascot is Sir Big Spur. It's been South Carolina's symbol since 1971. It's been the mascot there. And Shane Beamer is the coach, son of Frank Beamer from Virginia Tech. Shane spent a good stint at Georgia. as a tight end, a special teams coach from 2016, 2017, then went over to Oklahoma in 2018, and then, of course, made his way back to South Carolina. So he had some good wins last year with the program, and then they laid an egg against literally against Notre Dame and lost it in that bowl game. They should have won that. But this year lost a lot of talent to the transfer portal, and I think it's gonna come back to haunt them as the season progresses. So Matt, I'm gonna let you take it over here, my friend. Give us the update on the offense.
All right, as we get started, we got to start out with I guess you'd say their most notable player, which is Spencer Rattler. He's a transfer from Oklahoma. He's been there. I think this is going to be his second, third year. I can't 100% remember that piece, but this is definitely going to be his senior year there at this location. He is almost 700 yards for the year. And I'm going to give you some things we've always teased about in the past as we played him. He doesn't have a great arm. He's not a great quarterback. You put some pressure on him, he always makes mistakes. But I'm going to tell you something. After reviewing some of the playing video he's had this year and some of the stats he's had, this guy has improved. And even Kirby has noticed it in his press conference. He has improved. This guy is right now is number 3 in the country in passing efficiency. I will repeat that. Number 3 in the country with passing efficiency. In 2 games, he's only had 11 incompletions. And we know in the real world, some of those are drop balls. So this guy is getting more efficient this year. Yes, he is taking on some sacks. And is that on him? Maybe not. It's probably going to be more on his offensive line, which we hope to attack pretty well on come Saturday. But this guy is doing it. He doesn't have any interception so far. He has 3 touchdowns. Those all came last week in the game he played against last week. Once again, was the talent. You say, well, that's Furman. But Furman's ranked top 8 in their conference. So in the FCS rankings, they're number 8 in their SEC. So they're one of the top tier of their conference they're in. So they weren't just a completely dumpster fire like we got to play with TC Martin, who had no really good talent. They actually have some talent there, and this guy played pretty well. So he is number 2 in the SEC in passing. The only reason why he's number 2 is because the Vanderbilt quarterback is number 1 because he's played 3 games. So he's got 100 yards more, but he's played an extra game. So this guy's throwing the ball and he's throwing it well right now. He's averaging, almost averaging over 300 yards a game. He's playing, like I said, he's playing pretty well. He's number 8 in passing yards in the country. So we can't sleep on this guy. I think we got to continue to put pressure on him, just like North Carolina did. We can't let him sleep back there because he will throw the ball. Once again, even with the pressure he had, the sacks he had, he still threw for over 300 yards against North Carolina. Is that because he had to, because they were behind so much in the last few quarters? Probably so, but still, he's hitting his receivers. So passing the offense for them, one of the best in the country. On the other hand, their rushing offense is not so hot. So we go to their running back here. Is Mr. Joyner. They only have 102 yards rushing in 2 games. You heard me right. 102 total yards rushing in 2 games. And this is their leading rusher right here, Mr. Joyner. So he's got 65 rushing yards. He's only averaging a little bit under 3 yards per rush. But with that, he's got more yards receiving than he does rushing. So kind of goes into that double weapon they have for him. So he's not a great running back for them right now per se, but the guy can also catch out of the backfield. So he makes him a weapon. So maybe line up as a running back, almost like we had with McIntosh last year, ability to catch. So he's a second leading receiver on their team as well. So that's a weapon. The next one we have is their leading receiver. He's the only guy who gets the ball pretty much on their team. He's got almost 300 yards in these 2 games. So this guy is averaging, almost 150 yards a game for them. He's done that all. He's only got 1 touchdown but he's done that, pretty much in only 15 receptions. The nearest person down is the running back who has 9 receptions. So he is getting the bulk of those passes come his way. So he's going to be their big weapon. Leggett is his name, so you'll probably hear that name a lot. I'm hoping you'll hear a lot. He drops the ball, or the ball was broken up with who we put on him. So we got to figure out: are we going to put our best corner on him? Are we going to put maybe one of the like Everett, maybe our lower freshmen or sophomore guys in there who have least experience? I hope we move Lassiter over there to put some more pressure on with his length, so we'll be a lot more strenuous on him to get downfield for that piece. But that's really all we have, Brian. Kick it over to you and Kevin. Or I can continue to talk because it seems like I'm having some technical difficulties.
Sorry, buddy.
You're good.
I didn't add myself to the screen. I was saying that Grady Darcy said we'll rush for 200 plus and pass for 300. So he's probably right on that. Bill Krug wanted you to know this was Spencer Rattler's second year.
That's what I thought. I was just double checking.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Kevin, come on here and talk a little bit about our defense, and about the South Carolina defense and what we're going to see.
Yeah, so this was a really hard thing to do this week, believe it or not. Just going back and looking at South Carolina's defense, I mean, they gave up 323 yards against Samford. They gave up 437 yards against UNC, which is this defense is not even what we saw last year. When we played them then. So I think this is attributed to, like Brian was alluding to, as they've lost some people to the transfer portal. They've and it's really hurt them, and I think it's beginning to show up. It really showed up with the North Carolina game. They just struggled to stop North Carolina in every facet of the game. But the first player I wanted to highlight was a linebacker, Debo Williams. He's had 18 tackles this year. 2022, he had 27 total tackles. This guy's really stepped up his game. He's going to be the one that is really getting after that running game. He's going to be flying to the ball, going after the running back, is trying to stop our run game. And that's one of those things that they know that we have been struggling with that. They watch film. They keep up with what's going on with Georgia as much as we keep up with what's going on with South Carolina. So they know that that's where their struggle is. So watch these linebackers. They got a couple of sets. They got two really good linebackers. This is one of them. He had 8 tackles against UNC. He's physical. He's quick to the ball, like I said. He's going to be looking to disrupt that run game. So it'll be hoping that we'll have Edwards back. That's going to be our go-to and our plus when it comes to these linebackers. The second player is T.J. Sanders. He's a sophomore defensive tackle. He's had 6 total tackles so far and 1 sack. This guy he likes to take on blocks. He opens up the way for the linebackers to get through. That seems to be their strength. They just really creates more lanes for that linebacker core to come through. It seems to have that mindset of taking on those offensive blocks. So this is one of those guys that's really going to pave the way for that linebacker core to benefit from those holes that he causes. The third player I want to highlight is Jalen Kilgore. He's a DB. They have 2 DBs. This is one of them I chose to highlight. These guys get across the field. They're speedy guys. They're quick on their feet. They like to get to the ball. They like to wrap up. They like to hit the receivers as they're coming across the field. They're very physical. This guy, as you can see, he's from Eatonton, Georgia, so he's really, really going to be wanting to make a name for himself. I like to pick these guys that are from Georgia because it means something when they play Georgia. Last week I picked another guy, and he actually he stood out, and you expect to see these guys when they play that home team. They want to highlight what they have. This guy, he had 10 tackles so far this season, solo tackles, 18 combined tackles, and 12 of those came in the North Carolina game. So he's very physical, like I said. So just watch out for this guy to make a impact in this game.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's talk a little bit about what the keys to this game are going to be, guys. What are the keys to winning this game? What things do we need to do well, and what things do we need that could potentially cause us a problem going into Saturday? Matt?
Yeah, one of the things I've seen the last couple of games that I was actually surprised that we haven't struggled. We hadn't struggled with in the past is tackling. I've seen a lot of missed tackles. Some missed tackles in the backfield too. We're diving at feet versus putting a body on somebody. That's where I think some of the running woes we've had, like Kevin was talking about, has come because we're missing tackles back there on the line. We're missing tackles in the backfield. We're missing tackles on these receivers who are out wide. We're not getting off of blocks, and so I'm not sure it's a lack of intensity because it's not a physical team that we're playing, and that we don't feel like we have to work as hard to we want to try to stay healthy, or it's just that we're just maybe just having that kind of season where these guys got to get back in shape on tackling. I think if we miss tackles this week, I think we're going to see a bunch of, you mentioned it earlier, Brian, getting the ball out early, out wide stuff on these wide receiver screens and slants. And if we miss tackles on this stuff and go for our blocks, we could see guys going down, taking the ball to the house on us. And so that's one of my things that we really need to hone in on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious on what Mr. Akaki or Bill Krug thinks about this week. What things they want to see improve. Kevin, what's your thoughts?
I think I've alluded to it before. I think that, and it may have been John that alluded. No, it's Bill that alluded to the offensive line. I think that if we could get that offensive line being that road grader, that dominant offensive line, and open up those lanes for the running backs to burst through, you'll see that 6 to 8 yard carries each time. And I'm hoping that's something they've worked on. I'm hoping that's something they are just saving for this game. I don't know, because you never know. It's like last year. These vanilla games cause vanilla play calling. So I'm hoping that my big thing is our offensive line. They're doing a great job with pass defense. Not so great with that open up those lanes for the running backs to get through.
John Akaki says the hardest position to play is left tackle, and Ernest has, I guess he means only started 2 games. He's in a developmental phase, pressed into game speed. His best is in front of him. Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good stuff out of camp, and we'll see how things progress. I mean, and they've been rotating pretty good, getting the first and second string offensive lines out there. So hopefully somebody's going to flash, and we can see it happen this week. Bill Krug says he wants to see better clock management on offense, pass rush on defense. Our rushing game will determine the clock management. Keep Rattler in the pocket and collapse it. I like it. Let's see. Not sure who put this on here. It says defensive line and linebackers need to be disruptive. We need lanes opened up for QB sacks. Grady Darcy. Got it.
Yeah, that's one thing that they hadn't got after the quarterback. That's for sure. And when they had, they missed tackles, like Matt was saying.
So I think if we see sacks in this game, it's going to be because they're trying to go deep downfield on us, or because we've built such a big lead. They have to pass the ball more, and so we're going to have opportunities to get those sacks. But I think they're going to do like what Brian's saying. They're going to get rid of the ball within 2.5 seconds and try to prevent that from happening, just like what happened to them against North Carolina. Not going to hold that ball anymore.
Yeah, I hope we can get some sacks on him. I mean, he had 7 sacks in the North Carolina game? Spencer Rattler?
I think it was sacked 9 times.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's crazy. But, I mean, we got to look at it. Even the past years, we've never really been a huge sack team. And we still had dominant defensive lines. Because what's happening is they know they got to get rid of that ball, and their guys can't get open in time. So that clock is ticking in their heads. It's like, oh, we got to get rid of the ball, Sometimes it's the pressure on them. When they feel that pressure pushing back on them, we may not get the sack, but that defensive lineman is pushing their offensive line in their face. They throw the ball a little too high. And so what happens is we end up picking it off. Or it's a short, foot pass, or just a really pass out of bounds. So sometimes we may not get the sack, but we're still a loss of downs, which is our loss of a down. So we just got to make sure they just continue, like the person said, put some pressure on them.
2019, the South Carolina came into Sanford Stadium, and we turned the ball over 4 times in that game, and ended up missing the field goal at the end that we could have potentially, I guess, tied it up, right? And we lost that game. What do we need to do to prevent those types of things from occurring this go round with a new quarterback?
For me, we gotta be. I think we need to go back a little bit to the Monken stuff. We got to be explosive. We got to take chances. I mean, I know he's saying, "Oh, we don't turn the ball over." Well, that's the thing about when we had the Monken offense and why we love watching Stetson, because we took chances. We went deep. We did these run passes. Everything we did was so. I'm looking for a word. I just can't find it. But like, it sounds. We were aggressive all the time. We didn't play push back and play safe. We were aggressive all the time. And now Bobo needs to realize I have a great defense behind me. I can go be aggressive. In the past, when I was here, I couldn't do that because our defense was letting up 27 points a game. These guys are going to hold these guys. We can be aggressive. We can turn the ball over a little bit if it happens. Let's just go let's put pressure on that defense. Make them be changing their mind and question themselves the entire game.
Yep, I agree. Bill Crook says we're missing that dominant edge rusher the last 2 years. Well, another thing we're missing is Jalen Carter, because he was a darn beast inside. And, I mean, we saw that last year when he was out with injury. We just don't have that. We don't have that dude yet, right? We don't have anybody to replace him. I think
Brinson could be that guy.
I was just fit to say Brinson or Christian Miller. I think could come on strong and be those dudes. So hopefully we'll see them flash this week, and Kirby and the defensive coordinators will open up the playbook on the defensive side of the ball, and we'll see some stunts and some twists that will help us get more pressure on Rattler. Hunter Ivy says Rattler was sacked 9 times. And Bill Krug says Matt Monken's O was based on play action passing. If you don't run well enough, then they don't need to overload the box for us to go deep. It's true. That is true. Totally agree with that. Well, guys, let's jump into okay, we got another comment here. I'm not sure this. Number 29 was laying some wood last week. Grady Darcy says number 29 was laying some wood last week. All right, well, let's jump into the pick'em games. What do you say?
All right, let's do it.
Do it.
I can get it up here. Here we go. All right, so this week's first game is Mississippi State and LSU. I think this game is going to show us a lot about who LSU really is, and it also is going to show us a lot about who Mississippi State really is. Let's see. I think the line on the game is LSU at 9.5 points. Do you think that that LSU can cover? against Mississippi State.
I think so.
So go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Kevin.
mean, I think so, but it is, keep in mind, it is a 12 o'clock Eastern game. You remember what happened last year when they played a game that early? LSU is what I'm getting at. They come in there and they choked. And so this may be an interesting game. This may be more interesting than we give it credit for. And they may not cover. This may be a tight game. It all depends on what Mississippi State decides it's going to do. I think this one's, they may have the spread right. They may have it wrong. I think it's going to be more of a shootout style game where they're probably no more than 6 points between the end score. What you think, Matt?
So you're picking LSU then?
I ain't got to that point yet. I'm just trying to get your take on
whoa. So I picked this game, and people are like, "Oh, it's a big." So I think Mississippi State last week struggled against Arizona. I think it was because they're looking ahead to this game right here. Like you're saying, it's going to be 11 o'clock kickoff for them, which is 12 for us. This is going to be this is one of the games that we talked about when our preseason talk was, can Mississippi State really take the next step, or is LSU really good enough? I do think LSU will. I'm like you, Kevin. I think it's going to be a close game. I think this is maybe a 4 to 6 point victory, but I think LSU still wins the game. I think it's just going to be a little bit different for them. I think Mississippi State's going to bring all this into this game. I think that's what they're prepared for, and they weren't going to give it up to Arizona last week. They were going to wait to this game to show it.
I like it. Dad says LSU 38-27. I don't know about the points I'm going to call out, but I do think LSU wins this game. Whoops, that was the wrong one. This one, Bill Krug says he'll take the points and state.
Ooh, nice.
I like it. Yeah, I was trying to find the stats through 2 games. I want to say they've rushed more than they passed, but I'm wrong. Say 443 yards. Yes, 443 yards of rushing through 2 games, and they've passed 389 yards. Now, when have you ever heard of Mississippi State doing that?
When Sylvester Croom was a coach.
I know. Hunter Ivy says Mississippi State pulls the upset, 31-24. Justin Little says Brian Kelly chokes again. Yeah, I'm hearing some disgruntled players in the LSU locker room. There is a culture problem, and they are not getting along. That is what I'm hearing. I'm wondering how much of that is going to spill over to this week. We did choose LSU to win this game. I think we all came into a consensus at the beginning of the year. If LSU does lose this, it does make you wonder how they can repeat their way into the SEC championship. That is for dang sure. All right, Kevin.
Kevin's decision.
I know. That's what I'm waiting on.
All right. Well, I've got LSU. I'm picking LSU to win this game 38-32.
All right. So let me ask you this. If they lose, is it time to bench Jaden Daniels?
It depends how they lose.
Yeah.
So if you think
if he plays good, then it's not really his fault. The defense just can't stop them from scoring or whatnot. I do think it's a culture issue in that in that locker room, and I think it starts from the head coach. When you come on national TV,
I was about to say yes.
If you come on national TV in front of your players and say we thought we were Georgia, like that's what you just literally spit in your player's face sitting next to you. Like that's just terrible. I don't care if you said who you would have said. It doesn't have to be Georgia. It could have been anybody else. But saying we thought we were another team, that's just what an idiot. What a moron.
Caleb Newberry says, give me the Ghost Pirates in the upset. The Cowbell lives on in Starkville. Like it. Let's see. Kyle Vincent says, if they lose, Kevin Whitehead gets a mullet.
He would know about a mullet.
Gotcha. Let's see. I think that's all the comments I had on that one. Yeah, we're going to LSU on this one. I think they're going to pull it off. But it will be interesting to watch. All right, so Matt, tell me why you chose Missouri and Kansas State.
I really want Missouri to win a game. I want them to eventually get over the hump. And so this is an emotional game pick for me. I think statistically, Kansas State is, I think, a double-digit favor even coming into them to play. But in the past, Missouri has always struggled with those 12 o'clock games, or 11 o'clock games is technically for them. It doesn't matter how great they played the week before. They play really good midday or night, but they struggle with those early games. And I want to see if they can eventually get over the hump. I mean, they still got a lot of returning players on offense for that team, a lot of good returning defensive players, but they really haven't shown us a really good game yet. And so I want them to beat. The SEC needs a win outside the conference. We just need one. And I know that we're depending that from all our bottom tier teams, but still, we need our bottom tier teams to have a win. And they're at home, and I'm really just hoping that they'll win. So, I'm going to take Missouri. I said the last show I'm going to do no more emotional picks, but this is my emotional pick of the week. I'm going to go with Missouri and hope they can pull one out. I don't care if it's about 1 point. Just pull one out.
Kevin?
I'm in agreement with Matt. I don't want him to go out there and go to Kansas State and then just suck an egg, man. This is getting ridiculous. As much as we hate other teams in the SEC, the majority of us pull for those SEC teams to win when they're out of conference. And man, SEC has just been sucking eggs. I mean, bad this year. So I think that Missouri is going to go out there and pull a close one. I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm going to say probably 32 to 28, Missouri.
Wow. You think they're going to score that many points?
I don't know. It's you never know what's going on. Nobody thought that Miami was going to beat Texas A&M last week, but that happened. So
true. It happened.
Yep. Was that another Hunter Ivy call? Did he call that one too? I think he did. I'd have to get back.
Game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did too. Bill Krug says Missouri will take this one in a close run. Hunter Ivy says Mizzou by 3 in overtime, 38 to 35. That's a lot of points. I just don't see them scoring that many points in this game, but I could be wrong. I'm going to take Missouri by 3 as well. It's going to be a hard-fought battle, but I think it's going to be a lower-scoring game than what everybody else is saying. I'm thinking like 24-21 or something like that. Missouri. All right, let's jump this thing on here. The Gators versus Tennessee. Matt, what was your thoughts here?
So initially, everyone's like, okay, this shouldn't even be a contest, right? It should be Tennessee's going to fly away with this. But if you look at the history of these two teams, first of all, I remember when this used to be the premier game every year. Like, this was the first CBS. I remember back in the day when this was the first CBS game every year. It was like the U.S. Open was done, and then bam, it was the Florida-Tennessee game. But I'm telling you, Florida's going to give them a game. I know we don't believe it, but Florida's going to give them a game. And even the experts in Las Vegas are only giving Tennessee 6.5 points. So they don't think it's going to be a blowout either. Now, we could totally get a surprise and it could be a complete 20 points to lacking. But I think Florida's going to give them a really tough game. I think Florida still has some fight in them. They're still fighting for that coach. I don't know why, but they still are. That's why I picked the game. I think it's going to be closer than we first predicted. I still want to pick Tennessee, but I'm going to pick it by another close victory.
I like it. Do you know the last time that Tennessee won in the Swamp?
2013?
2003. It's been 20 years. 20 years since they've won in the Swamp. Kevin, can they get it done?
I think they can. I think that this is this Florida Gator team is just trash. Let's be real. They are complete and utter trash. This, even though that Tennessee struggled against, who was it? Can't even think of their name at this moment last week. But anyway, I think we all know that game, that they look like garbage. They look like garbage in the first and second quarters. And then they finally decided they were going to pull it through, as they were reaching toward the end of the game. But I think this is one of those instances where Florida is complete trash and they know it. And I think Tennessee's going to come in there and just beat the brakes off of Florida. I got them 34-17.
I like it. Hunter Ivy and Richard Fields both posted, can both teams lose? They posted that at the same time. That's why I laughed when you were talking. I was like, I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. Bill Krug says, tell him, Hunter. Let's see. Kyle Vincent says, Tennessee 21, the Gators 17. I love this post right here. Grady says, UTI. 38-16. Caleb Newberry says, look at last year. Tennessee was way better than Florida and barely won that game in Neyland. Yep. Hunter Ivy says, a night game in the Swamp, huge, 45-20. Bill Krug says, Hunter's the man.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Little says, Tennessee wins a sloppy one in the fourth. I think they're ready to play, man. And I'm hearing that their fans are traveling. I mean, they're talking like we're bringing a sea of orange to the Swamp. I think the Florida fans have checked out, sold their tickets. You might see a 50-50 or a 60-40 split in the stands for this game. But I'm taking Tennessee all the way. I just don't. Gators' offense is inept, and their defense is suspect. So I'm taking them big. I'm going 42. 42-17 is what my score is going to be. Going with Tennessee. Let's see. Somebody posted Tennessee wins big. That's Richard Fields. All right. BYU and the Hogs. Matt, what you got?
The Hogs will beat the Mormons by 10 points.
Gotcha. Right now the spread
to the point.
The spread is 8 points to Arkansas. I could definitely easily see in Arkansas covering. What do you say, Kevin?
I think it's going to be a lot more than what Matt is saying. But I've got Arkansas winning this one 38-20.
Wow. I like it. Let's see if we get some predictions on here. I don't see anybody commenting just yet.
Is it because it's BYU?
No,
seriously.
Man.
Could be.
The Fighting Mormons.
Be with what?
Wow.
Wow.
He wants all those old guys to win out.
Wow. Caleb Newberry says BY woo pig suey Hogs 28-17. I like that.
That's good.
I like it. Hunter Ivy says 24-17 BYU. Wow. Matt said the Fighting Mormons, Richard Fields. Good deal. All right, Matt. I threw this one in here just for you, buddy. You're our resident secret society Georgia Tech fan.
The little brothers, man. You got to give little brothers a chance every once in a while.
You're the closet Tech fan.
So I'm telling you, Georgia Tech has finally got them a decent quarterback. Not great, not good, but a better quarterback than they've had in many, many years. And so I don't think it's really going to be – I think he's better with his legs than he is his arm, but we're going to see what happens this week. I still think Ole Miss beats them. I still think this actually may be a somewhat high-scoring game because both these teams have zero defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could easily be, high 30s, mid 40s for both these teams. So I'm still going to go with Ole Miss.
Do they cover? That's really what I'm looking at. Does
What's the spread?
18 points.
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Wow. Kevin?
Oh, I'm so glad you put this game on here because this is the one I wanted. This is my upset game of the week right here.
Wow.
Georgia Tech is going to Ole Miss and going to upset them. If you watch that Tulane game, Tulane gave Ole Miss all they can handle all the way up to the fourth quarter with the second string quarterback. And then until that quarterback made dumb mistakes trying to win the ball game instead of just playing the game that he played all game long. That being said, Georgia Tech is hungry. They want a big win. This is that big win that they get. Georgia Tech going to Ole Miss, going to win, going to break the hearts of the Ole Miss fans. I believe they're going to win. It's going to be 38-35.
Wow. Wow. Let's see. Bill Krug says it's going to be a massacre. Ole Miss is going to win big. Caleb Newberry says Ole Miss by 50. Georgia Tech is the wish version of McNeese State. I think they're a little bit better than that this year, but I see what you're saying. Dad says Ole Miss 38-28. Hunter Ivy says Ole Miss by a lot against our little sister, 56-13.
That's funny.
Let's see. Richard Fields says Rebels 35, Bugs 28. Caleb Newberry says Georgia Tech ain't hungry. They're malnourished by this point. Died of starvation in 2011. I love it. I love it. Bill Krug says Tulane at the time was a top 25 team. That's true. That's true. Dad says it could be that Georgia Tech, since Ole Miss will play Alabama next week. Yeah, they could be overlooking this game. Definitely could be overlooking this game, trying to look ahead, and it jumps up and bites them. That is for sure. But I'm still taking Ole Miss. I just think their offense is too potent. I don't think that Georgia Tech can stop them and or outscore them. So I'm still taking Ole Miss on this one. All right, the game of the week. Let's see. Bill Krug, he says, I never think of Georgia Tech as the top of any team. I like it. I like it. All right, game of the week. The Dogs and the Gamecocks. What do you have? What's your thoughts, Matt? What's your prediction?
I'm going to go on a limb here and say UJ is going to win. That's my plan.
I figured that.
All right, just making sure everybody knew that. I was up front with that. I think this is going to be the game where we'll really figure out, is everything that we've been doing just vanilla, or do we really have struggles and opportunities in our locker room? That's where I think we're going to figure out. So we're going to come away, coming back in here next week and saying, oh my gosh, we finally saw the offense we've been waiting for. We finally see that dominant defense that continue what it's been doing. Or we're like, yeah, we have some problems to work on. It's going to be one or the other. I don't think we're going to come back and think, we're still a pretty good team. It's going to be one or the other. We're going to be top notch. We're showing everything. We're going to beat some tails, or we have some things to work on. But so, I have 33-17.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't think we cover the spread?
Do not.
Wow. All right. Bill Krug says we will win out, but by 21-ish. So he doesn't think we're going to cover the spread either. Grady Darcy says 45-3. He's got the spread. That's exactly what I was thinking, or a 45-10. Dad says 51-7. I'm going to go with that score. I like that score.
Heck yeah,
I like that one a lot. I will take it. I'll take those last three. Sign me up.
Richard Fields says 42-13 Dogs. I like it. Kevin, what do you think, buddy?
I think this is the game where you come out, the Dogs come out, they open up the playbook. You see them firing on all cylinders. I think we get a lot of our key players back in this game. They've been holding them back, letting them heal up, letting them get fresh, letting them get ready for this game and this game alone to start the season. This is where we start our SEC play. I got the Dogs winning big, 47-13.
I like it. Yeah, I do hope we see McConkey and Edwards, all the players that we haven't been seeing. Definitely want to see them on the field. Caleb Newberry says, agreed. Bobo opens up the pass game. We throw vertical a lot more. South Carolina averages 50 yards rushing per game. Dogs by 35. I like it. 48-13. I like it. I like it a lot. Hunter Ivy says 42-10 UGA. And if Hunter says it, that's what's going to happen. I just honestly believe that. My score was 45-10. So, and of course, I hit the score right on the nail on the head last week. I don't know if you guys saw that. I just figured I'd throw that out there, that my prediction for the Ball State game was accurate. So just wanted to point that out. But so 45-10 is my score. I hope that we do that. I hope we show South Carolina that we are still the dominant force in the East, and we take it to them. And really, the main thing I just want to see is improvement week over week, right?
Yep.
It's a long season. As long as we keep winning and we keep improving, it's going to get us to our ultimate goal. But it's one game at a time, as always, on the Dog Pound. All right, let's see. One more comment here. Kyle Vincent says, if the Dogs come in on kill mode, then they will do good. Yep, totally agree. Any final comments before we jump off this thing? Because we're 8 minutes over.
Go Dogs and bust some skulls.
I like it. Kevin, got anything, buddy?
Yeah, get you a bucket of fried chicken and enjoy the game this weekend.
That's right.
Yep, totally agree. Well, guys, we're going to be back on here on Thursday night, recapping the South Carolina Gamecocks game. Hopefully we'll be talking about a bloodbath where we decapitated those chickens and drained them out on the field. And we'll be back here talking about our next game with UAB, which is a night game, by the way. Looking forward to that. But we're going to take care of these Gamecocks this week. Hey, I'm Brian. It's Matt. Kevin. We're going for the 3-peat. Undefeated right here on the Middle Georgia Dog Pound. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Go Dogs.